Good morning from Route 66. My name's Glenn. I am traveling Route 66 from Chicago out to California, staying on the Mother Road as much as humanly possible. Want the whole experience. I'm starting this morning from Flagstaff, Arizona. Woke up this morning here and TV said it's 30 degrees outside. It's June 6th. It's June 8th. How can it be 30 degrees? Walked outside, it's 30 degrees. So just because it's 85 to 90 and high humidity where you are, pack an extra pair of sweats just in case, because the rest of the country may not be like that. But fortunately I do well with cold, so I'll be okay till it warms up. Probably going to shoot for the Grand Canyon today, take a little side trip off 66, just because I'm discovering on this road, on this trip, that it's one thing to look at pictures of stuff. It's another thing to be there and experience it. It's a whole different feeling down in the gut, a whole different sense of connection. And it's kind of a paradox too, because you go there and you just experience how big this is and how majestic and how in awe and how insignificant you can feel. At the same time as I'm filming this, we've got the East Coast getting inundated with smoke from Canada, emphasizing what a small, fragile, interconnected planet we are. I'm going to tell you that it's a paradox. It's realizing that, yes, how small we are and how vast all this is. And at the same time, having the realization in our mind is, despite all that, we currently have the power right now to really screw it up all bad. So the emotional experience of actually being at some of these places will just give you the sense, well, will give me the sense anyway, of moving the idea of conservation, needing to be responsible stewards of the earth. It will move it from this, intellectual, something I picked up in college, wore a lot of black and, protested a lot of stuff. It'll move from that whole intellectual concept to this deep sense of stewardship and feeling. I think it's really important, especially these days, for people to have that. Really is. So I'm going to get my button gear and get on the road and get up there and make a few more stops along the way and see what the day brings, where the road takes me and what I experience. And tonight, when I find some place to stay, I'll edit all that video and put it up for you. Starting off in Flagstaff this morning, we have been greeted with Louie the Lumberjack. Also in Flagstaff, we have Paul Bunyan. He is one of the legendary muffler men, and from what I've read, he was the first one made. Cute little place right outside of Williams, Arizona, is the Parks and the Pines Deli. Historical place on historic 66. On historic Route 66, welcome to Williams, Arizona. Have made it to the Williams, Arizona Visitor Information Center to get the old passport stamped. Hey, here in Williams, I got to meet a childhood idol of mine. See, boys and girls, this is what we used to have to use before cell phones. And used to have to drive or walk till you could find one of these puppies and have change. Have arrived at the Grand Canyon and secured parking. Piece of advice, if you're planning on doing any of this, especially if you're a senior person, retired, or look at getting yourself a national park pass. And remember, while you're here, let squirrels feed themselves. They will bite. Hey, just a reminder, even if you're visiting the Grand Canyon and you're thinking it's a big hole in the ground, you're still 6,500 feet up. And you start doing some walking, seriously walking, you will notice it. Trust me. This is my first view of the Grand Canyon. It's like, holy.
Nothing else does. This is on off and that one takes a picture. But don't keep your finger on it because you'll use up all the battery.
And there's an overlook out there. I'm going to take a walk over to it. Just completely unreal. You know, it's like I said earlier in the videos, you can look at pictures of this stuff all you want on travel channels and History Channel and all that. Until you are here in real life, it is just not the same. This is looking down, and this is not all the way to the canyon floor. This is just looking down this ravine where I'm standing. And closer look at that outcropping here where people can take the pictures. The other side. Sorry if it's hard to hear me. This is like the voice of awestruck. Okay, we're gonna try this looking down thing again. You know, looking down into the canyon, it's just so, I mean, it's not like, you know, it was carved just a riverbed. I mean, there's things sticking up off hundreds of feet off the floor of the Grand Canyon. Trying to capture some of that looking down. And then there's like another little river canyon carved going up that way. And down over here, it actually looks like there's some greenery down there along what looks like a river. I don't know if you can hear those clicking sounds in the background, but there is some kind of insect living in these evergreens all around us. I've been hearing this since I got out of the car. Coming out to that little observation point that we saw, that is the view, just walking down the stairs out to it. Here's another looking down shot. And if anybody asks, yes, I do occasionally feel dizzy staring down these cliffs. And these observation areas are just on the natural rock, including all these potholes and holes in them. So you watch your ankles. After looking at all this and just being in that total state of awe, got to go to the Geology Museum. Okay, let's tie together what we've seen in the past 2 days. So here's the Painted Desert. And that is bordering the Grand Canyon. And here's where we are. You are here. And that's the little bit we have been able to see from these vantage points. And it continues on up. For those who remember more of geology than I do at this moment, beautiful display of the different layers and formations that we're seeing down into the canyon. And this thing is like 8 feet high. All the way down to the basement layers. I'm looking out the far window of the museum. Just the sense of scale, I don't think nobody's ever been able to capture it with videos and film. We have made it to Seligman, Arizona. I'm hoping we can see Angel's barbershop. He's one of the people that was instrumental in starting the preservation of Route 66 movements. So I'm really got my fingers crossed. That is just cool as hell. We found the barbershop. Well, it was a barbershop, now it's a gift shop, but it is historic because this is where Angel worked for years. This is the actual inside of the barbershop. And that is the man himself.
She just introduced herself.
Yes, this is a really good friend of mine.
And
This
her
is his
boyfriend
place.
was telling me.
The outside view of the barber and gift shop. Welcome to the historic Roadkill Cafe and the OK Saloon. You just look at it and say, this should be good. All the vultures eat here. And in the same parking lot is the historic 1860 Arizona Territorial Jail. Little pot-bellied stove. And that must have been the cell. Yeah, that was the cell. You gotta love this menu. Vulture's Nest, the Funky Skunk, the Splatter Platter, turtle in a half shell. Said this is, I'm just loving this experience. Bad break steaks. Oh my God, I love this. This is gonna be great. It's the Roadkill Cafe. And featuring the infamous Roadkill Kitchen. This is worthy of its own little section here. Beautiful little wood carving. And yes, the meat is that fresh. Good evening. It has been a great day on Route 66. Started off this morning in Flagstaff, 30 degrees outside the hotel. Nice and chilly, just the way I like it. Definitely wake you up better than coffee. There are a couple of giants I wanted to see there in Flagstaff. Saw those. Got down the road to Williams. Found the visitor center. Got my passport stamped. Looked around there for a little bit. It's a nice little town. And then jumped on up to the Grand Canyon. Yes, I took that little detour off 66. Got up there. I'm going to let that video footage and the pictures speak for itself. I know that video and pictures cannot capture what the actual experience is of actually being there in person. Okay? It's to the point where it's like, I would give a lot right now to have an hour to talk to John Muir. And just, so John, when did this hit you? You know, because if you've been out there in any of these places in person, you know what I'm talking about. Spent way too much time there. Went through the visitor center was closed due to staffing problems. They have a little museum there that's fascinating and has a beautiful scenic overlook. Grand Canyon, everybody, put it on your bucket list, okay? And buy the National Park passport before you go. It'll save you a lot of money. So, came on back down after that. Went out to Sigmund. Got to see Angel's Barbershop. That whole town is like a tribute to 66. They're trying to make a comeback. And I think the 100th anniversary of 66 is going to give them a big boost. There is the Roadkill Cafe. Going to let that speak for itself. Look on the Facebook page for the menu pictures. Okay, that's the real menu. I was going to stay there, but there were motels there, but not the kind that really appealed to me. So got back on the highway for an extra hour, came down to Kingman, and I'm going to start here from the morning. Hoping y'all have a great time, and hope you're enjoying these videos. Again, comments, anything that you want to tell me, please feel free to. I'm too old to take offense, and I know I'm brand new at this. Have a good night. I will see y'all in the morning.